What's up guys, welcome back to the shop. In today's video I'm going to be making something I've been wanting to make for a while now. I just haven't had the chance to, or the know-how, and I've slowly been ordering materials and now I have everything here set. So I'm going to be making a disc grinder, but not just making a disc grinder, I'm making an attachment for my 2x72. As you can see, I'm working out of a small garage. So since I'm working out of a small garage, I can't have, dedicated tools for one certain thing. And on top of that, it's just me here. So I'd like to make it as user-friendly as possible while also making it as take up the least amount of space as possible. So we're making an attachment. I've been thinking for a while that I'm not really sure what kind of how the attachment system would work. But over thinking about it and seeing other grinder attachments, not for disc grinding, but attachments that come on my machine, I figured out roughly what I'm going to do. I'm going to be making the actual holding component out of 3/8 mild steel, and I'm going to be mimicking that off of another tooling arm that I already use, and I'm going to mimic that style, but just alter it a little for what I'm doing. What I have here is an OBM 2x72, a small wheel attachment. So this is an attachment I use quite frequently on pretty much every knife that I use a small wheel. So this guy just goes into the machine and I put in the small wheel attachment. It sits in there and the belt holds it, and the belt spins it. So that's roughly what I'm gonna do, with the exception that it's gonna be an enclosed bearing. Why? Because I'm not gonna be putting the piece in every time I want to use it. It's gonna be dedicated just for that, and it's gonna be enclosed. But instead of having it here where it's a dedicated wheel on bearings, I'm gonna be using a drive shaft, a linear drive shaft. So I'm gonna be using a linear drive shaft like this. Why? Because I'm going to be putting a drive wheel in the center with free floating bearings. So pretty much the bearings are only going to be there to help it spin, to transfer the spin over. And I'm going to have my attachment here with a drive wheel, and then something over here, I'm still not sure. And that way it stays in place and doesn't move. And whenever I need to, take it apart, all I got to do is take out the center wheel, take off the whatever tie-ins I have on the key shaft, and just pull it out. So that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple build, and fortunately I have this, so I'm just gonna mimic this in 3/8 steel because my bearings are 3/8 thick. So let's get started. Alright guys, so our pieces are cut. That took the better part of an hour and a half. Man, this stuff is 3/8. It's no joke. It was putting my grinder through hell. But got the parts cut out. Next thing we got to do is drill the holes for everything, and drill our holes for our bearings. To make sure we get two identical holes, I'm gonna be going to tack weld these two together and drill them together, and then probably clean up the edges together as well before I take it apart. Alright guys, so I got all the holes drilled out. I ended up having to take an angle grinder to this guy to be able to get all the insides out. I was having some issues with that, but it works perfectly for me. I could always fill this in with weld regardless. I think a piece is going to sit on here. It'll probably cover up most of it, or some of it. But we got the first piece ready, and here we have our bearings and our drive shaft along with the other pieces that are going to be on here, like so, and like so. So we're moving along pretty well. Alright guys, so this is the drive wheel that I'm going to be using on here. It is a 2" by 4" drive wheel. It's a drive wheel I've had for a while. I've used it on other projects, but I'm repurposing it for this. Though this guy was a pain to get off. It took me a good while to get it off the machine. I didn't record it because it was pulling it off. But now that we got it, we have a small issue in which it's a little bit bigger than I thought it would be, because I didn't measure it beforehand. So I'm gonna have to cut this guy to be able to make it fit, because it's too long. So I'm gonna cut it back a bit, and it should be able to solve that problem, and we can start putting stuff together. Alright guys, so I cut the piece and it looks pretty good. Looks like it's gonna fit. So now all I gotta do is weld it together and figure out how I'm gonna space it here. This side is flat, so I'll just put it roughly where it needs to go. That side, I'm gonna have to space it somehow, but we'll figure that out afterwards. Alright guys, so I set everything up and I put it on the machine. After I got done welding, I just installed this wheel and then I installed this guy. But one of the issues I'm having right now is that as it spins it to the side, as you can see, and it starts binding it. Same way to the other side. So I'm not sure why that is. Obviously I need to put some spacers there or something to hold it in place so that it doesn't move side to side. And the tracking wheel actually does its function by tracking it. But another thing is that this guy's all the way down. It's pretty much has it to its max where it's at. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a chunk of this and just chop it off to give myself more clearance in there, and that'll give me more movement here, and hopefully that'll fix the tracking issue. We can straighten this guy up, and I'll figure out what I'm gonna do probably here, and I'll probably push this guy out more and put something here and something here to clamp it in place so that it can't go that way or this way. But overall it's turning out pretty good. This is the disc. It's a 9" disc. I got it from Beaumont Metalworks, and it cost me about $180 with shipping, but it was the only. This is a 1" clearance disc. 1 inch. This is a 1 degree disc, so it has 1 degree tapering from the center out, both sides in all directions. That keeps you from setting your piece here flat, and once you start dragging it this way, from touching this side and it's snagging it and pulling out of your hand. Especially with, you know, knives and sharp objects and stuff that we're going to be working with, that's not safe. So that's why I decided to spend extra money. It was a hassle to find. Everywhere had a 0 degree, but I found this 1 degree bevel and it should do good. I'm mainly going to be using it like this or with the tilted feature. But so far so good. Got a little kinks to fix, but I expected as much. And we'll figure it out and fix them. Alright guys, so I got it put on. I put these collars on. They are called bearing collars or shaft collars, and they're just going to keep it from moving side to side. So next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and chop it off here, because if you can tell as I spin it, it's not perfectly straight. So the longer the shaft is, you know, it's it causes wobble over here. So I'm gonna cut it off probably like around here or so, roughly. And the excess will just go somewhere. Let's put it away for a future project or whatever. Coming out pretty well. No, we don't got movement side to side anymore. Got a little tiny wiggle, but just a little bit of play. Other than that, we're good to go. Alright guys, so I got this piece cut already, and we are looking pretty good. Let me go on ahead and turn it on. And it's running pretty smooth. Has a little bit of wobble to it, and I can't quite figure out where that wobble's coming from, but hopefully eventually I will. This is not a big issue, but it's working pretty good. This is why I wanted it to be variable speed controlled, so that I'm really probably never going to run it faster than this, because I'm not looking to take off a lot of material. I'm looking to be able to flatten parts out, and I probably won't even be running it like this. I'll be running it in the tilted position. So I'll be running in the tilted position like so, which right now is pretty high. It's about my chest level, and that's because the base for the tilt machines are a lot higher. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to lower my grinder by cutting these guys down, but that's for another day. And pretty much it works pretty good. I really wanted this because I wanted to be able to put down a knife and get it really nice and flat. It has a 1 degree bevel, so I don't cross over and it snags it from me. It'll always be at a slight angle, just enough for it not to contact the other side and try to pull it. And I'll be able to put down a knife and be able to give it a really nice clean surface, really nice and even surface. Because whenever you're grinding with a 2x72, you have a 2-inch platen. And sometimes as you're grinding, sometimes you rock it a little bit here or there, and it creates little dips. And those dips are really, really hard to get out. But with one of these, I can just put down, I have 4.5 inches worth of space that I can work it, and I can just slowly grind it off and get it nice and flat, nice and even. So I get a nice even edge without any kind of dips or deformations in it. So this is just one extra thing to help get my chef's knives a lot better. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to show you how I'm going to put a piece of paper on it and see if I can find a knife around here I got started that I can give it a test drive with. Alright guys, so this is what is used to hold the sandpaper onto this. It's feathering disc adhesive type 2. I got this off of Amazon. It's like 35 bucks. I thought it was going to be smaller, but this tube's actually pretty nice. When I saw 5 fluid ounces, I was like, it's going to be a little baby one. No, this guy's pretty big. It's going to last a very, very long time. And pretty much all this is it's a glue that holds the sandpaper, but it's also removable. So I can pull the sandpaper off and replace it with another one as needed. So I'm going to go on ahead and apply this. I'm going to turn it on and just slowly put it on like that while it spins, so we get nice even coverage. And then afterwards I'll just I don't have a squeegee, so I'm going to be using this piece of micarta, and I'm just going to see if I can get a nice even coverage. I need some more. There we go. It's kind of evenish. I'm just going to take the paper and lay it down like so. Take a knife. This is a 220 grit. Rhino wet. Take a regular disc, a regular piece of sandpaper. I prefer using regular square piece of sandpaper instead of buying actual 9.5-inch disc, because I can just cut it down the size. It'll fit perfectly. The excess, I'll use it for just hand sanding your small spots or whatever, and we can go to pretty much whatever grit we want with this. So that's definitely a good thing about it. For example, here I have a knife that may never see completion. I probably had it for like 2-3 years and never finished it, but we're gonna be using it to test it out. Alrighty, and that's after just a few minutes of playing with it. But as you can see, it's already starting to get it nice and even. Obviously my grind on this is horrible. This thing's old, and my grinds are way better now when I freehand from practice. But that's pretty much my intention, to get this nice, flat, and even all the way through. And it would be the same on the other side. And that way I get a nice, consistent, sharp edge every single time whenever I use it. This guy got a big old nick. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this build. If you liked the video, be sure to like the video. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate y'all, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.